Yeah, so today what we're going to really be doing like is really trying to replicate something like this. I initially the original idea came to me. I mean, so sorry, it's not an original idea. The idea came to me from this particular site. I saw 28k dot studio. Let me drop the link in the chat in case you want to go through the site for yourself. Where is the chat? So yeah, you can find the link in chat. 28k dot studio. So I found their website quite interesting with the way they do a couple of things, and I was like, you know what, I can actually do that thing in YouTube myself. Sorry, in Figma myself. So yeah, I was just what's it called? It was a really cool experiment. I just had to try for myself, and I think the results are worth sharing. So let's just load up so we can actually see a couple of things. So for full disclosure, like this meeting is being recorded, and I will definitely be what's it called, uploading on YouTube as well. So you can always go on YouTube and just search for let me show Victor, and you find the channel there, and everything that's been, all the videos of the previous design sessions are going to be uploaded here as well. So let me just drop the link in chat as well in case you need to find that as well. Where's the chat? Okay, yeah, so that's that. So just give it a few seconds to load up. I think it's having a bit of issues. 28k. Okay, so while that's actually loading up, let me just start giving like a quick breakdown of the whole thing. So currently the way it works is that you have you have this particular clock thing in the middle as well. It's a component set up just to like rotate randomly, and then the other things are just like frames, different frames that are set up to move from state to state. I've not really cleaned the file up, but then yeah, I'm going to be building from scratch today as well. So for some reason the actual site is not loading up, but basically you can check it out in your own time. 28k.studio is the site in case you want to go through it. So yeah, let's just quickly get to work and see how things were made and see how we can actually use components in achieving most of all these things. Let me just quickly cut this file and paste it in the other file so we can have easy access to it. Okay, Control C, paste here. Yeah. Okay, so basically, I don't know if you can see, but basically this one is like here is written like shorthand. Let me change the screen. Let me turn the thing to dark mode so you can see. E4. Just select something dark. So I don't know if you can see that particular hand, the hand of the clock that's going around and around, is actually like a component that I set up to just keep rotating around and around. And then you have the long hand separate from what the short hand is. So that's how the clock thing is set up. But the other things are just like set up as to move from frame to frame, because I actually don't want them as a component. The other items, which for example the text. Let me see if I can get that thing to work. Yeah, this text that comes up like this, I don't want it to be a component, because a component, basically the animations of a component are meant to be like be persistent, but then for an animation I just want to just like happen once and go away. It's not something I want to set up a component and component for, which is why I only have the clock hand set up as component, because that's actually the only persistent element in the entire thing. So that's really the breakdown. But then the actual let me see, it's acting a bit slow today. The actual transition thing, this whole should I call it bubble, or should I call it bubble? I think I'll call it bubble effect, is done. It's basically just let me see if I can check the parts. Okay, where is that thing? Mask. Okay, it's a couple of like masks of items upon each other. I'm trying to like separate them so you can actually see how it. Yeah, so that particular bubble thing, the bubble effect, is actually set up by using like a mask to like hide the image, just and the mask just expands, and just like while this one goes back, while this one recedes, this one expands forward just to like enclose the entire screen. So that basically just adding masks of of the kind of shape you want to cover the screen over another another image that has the same size as well. So that's basically the way things set up. Then the other one as well, the other one is also a different mask this time. It's a different mask this time. Let me see if I can break. Yeah, so the other one, let me see if I can get that thing to work. Yeah. Okay. So in the closing animation, you see like there's this this although it's not working out because I've actually like separated things. Let me try to put them back together. It's to work. It should. Yeah, so this particular effect is just that mask expanding, and then this other one, the other what's it called, fading effect, is just that mask reducing. So that's basically the way the entire thing is set up. Currently here, the mask is currently like this mask here is currently like huge, and then here this mask is also huge, but here it's shrunken. So that's basically just the idea behind the entire thing. So let's just get into creating the mask thing itself. I'm going to create a frame 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080. I'm using it because, like I said, I keep saying it all the time. 16 by 9 aspect ratio is my preferred aspect ratio for working with, because it just looks good for some reason. It just looks good, especially for widescreen. Looks good. So I prefer to work with 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So 1920 by 1080 is a 16 by 9 aspect ratio frame. So I'm just going to create this one, and then I'm going to start creating the other items. The first thing I want to do is to draw a rectangle. I think a rectangle should work just fine. I'm not going to really like sweat the design aspect, because the core what's it called experience is actually about the masking, where you mask items and where you put what you put where and all of that. So that's what I'm going to be focused on, not the design aspect itself. So I'm going to create a rectangle, and then I'm going to like add an image to it. So plugin, unsplash. Okay, so I'm just going to get an abstract image, because I think it's what's it called, it looks like what I want to use for this particular design. So while it's loaded, I don't know, so for some reason everything is just like really slow today, but yeah, just give it 1 second to load up. Okay, while that is going on, I also want to create another create another rectangle. But while I'm doing that, I think I want to also like use rulers to like just highlight where the current rectangle is, so I'm not confused when I'm trying to like move stuff around. So I'm just going to mark the corners of the rectangle itself, just to help me for incising. So yeah, that's done. And next I'm going to just like slap an abstract image into the rectangle. So I'm not really giving it rectangle size, but if you're particular about size, I think I also want to still try and stick to the whole 16 by 9. So I'm just going to like enter in the width, I'm going to enter 16, and in the height I'm going to enter 9. I don't really see anything change because there's 2 of them. So the rectangle is really small, so 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and then I'm just going to like scale it up from there. So constrain the properties, and then scale it up from there. Scale it up, hold shift, and just scale it so it scales proportionally. Okay, so I think this is good. So I'm just going to centralize again, and then reorient the the rulers themselves to match the corners. So yeah, that's done. The next thing I'm going to just just drop an image there. I think I personally have a personal bias for like using like really good images for my design. So I'm going to just go to landscape. I'm not really going to look that hard, but then I'm just going to go to landscape and choose one of them from there. So 1 second while they load up. So like this one, I think this should work. I think. I wish it was a bit blurry, but then it should work. It should work for this. Work fine for this design. So yeah, let's just do that quickly. So if you notice, let me see if this has opened up. Still has not, unfortunately. I was going to like just show you this side and like just show you like what's it called, a couple of things, but that's okay. So this particular thing, that particular balloon, I don't want to call it balloon. I don't want I call it the concave. Yeah, it's called concave. The concave shape actually comes outside from the edges of this edges of this rectangle. Ideally, if this was XD, Adobe XD actually allows you to like morph parts. What do I mean by morph parts? So this rectangle, like I actually change the rectangle into a circle. On Figma, you can actually do that, but then the results are not do not really come out great. So personally, like I would not advise it, which is why I'm actually going the long route of creating multiple shapes. If this was XD, I would just need to like add a path here, and just change it into like a concave shape as it grows. So that's basically what I would do if this was XD. But then since it's not, I have to go the long route of actually creating a concave shape myself and then hiding it behind or in front. I'm going to be hiding in plain sight here. I think that's the word, hiding it in plain sight. So while the network thing is still acting up, really sorry about that. I even hope I'm still on this call. Let me check. Okay, I think I still am. So yeah, I'm going to be creating the concave shape, the concave and convex shape. So While the image thing is working, I want to start creating the concave shape. So to create the concave, all you just need to do is just to click on the rectangle. So I've duplicated it. There's 2 of them now. Let me call this one. Make this one red. Make it red. And then I'm going to rename it to concave. So concave, which is the shape. That's the what's it called? Bulging. The one with the bulging edges. So here's the concave shape. I'm going to just click on enter. Press enter on my keyboard to go into what's it called? Path edit mode. So currently I can edit the path of this particular shape. So what I want to just do is just to click on this edge. Like once you've press enter, it will show you the 4 corners of the shape. What you want to just do now is just like add more corners to it. So you are going to add the corner here, add the corner here, the corner, add the path. Or I don't really know what the right word is, but then let me just say add the corner. Let me just use the word corner, I guess. So add a point. This is the word point. Add the points on the. So ideally, once you hover over the section, Figma will just like tell you where the center of the that particular side is. So you don't need to like have to be guessing or whatever. Just go there and then just hover your mouse over it. You're going to see like a point appear and where the center of the shape of the line of this path of the side should be. So just select it, and that's that. So you have like this. You have like extra sides you've added to. Points you've added to the particular shape. You have this here, point here, and that's that. So what you want to just do now is just to start like making it like bulge the sides out. That's what you want to start doing. So by default, since you just added the side, it's just going to voila, finally have an image, which is a good thing. But I want to leave this image somewhere. I want to just move this image out and call it image. I don't want to do the image. I want to just focus on the shapes first. So I want to remove the image layer. Yeah. So we have the image there just in case we need it. And I think I will also expand it, but then that's by the way. So once you have that that thing done, I think I still need to do it again. Just come here, click on here, add a side, add a point. I think point is the word. So you want to start expanding the side. So by default, like there's really no there's really no fixed end dimension. Although for me, what I did for mine was that I had to go on the side, on the on the website, and then I like took a screenshot of their so this is a screenshot of their website here. Took a screenshot of the website and then I dropped it into my frame. So let me drop the screenshot here. Why are you delaying? Yeah, so this is how their own shape was. So I just tried to like create this particular shape for my own design as well. So I'm just going to use the same thing here as well. This is a screenshot from their website. I want to drop my design and then I want to use it to like create like my own shape for this particular shape. So before I do that, I want to make sure that the edges are properly centralized. Or you know what, it's totally fine. Let's just do it like that. So yeah, I want to use this as my guide. So what I want to do is click add my edges on my sides, my points again for the umpteenth time, and then I want to start making it bulge. Why are you doing this to me? Making it bulge, and then again. So making it bulge. To make it bulge, just select one of the side and then move it. I'm holding shift on my keyboard. Shift just to make it move like faster, and then hold shift, and then I'm going to be holding holding using my side arrows, so side left and right arrows, up and down. So I'm going to be using left to move it to left. Although I think one thing I should have done before now is to match the sides, the corners to match each other. So I'm going to expand a bit, grow it out a bit to make sure that the corners actually like end in the same point. So I think I can actually use I can use my rulers to mark it. So mark where the corners of this, that's these corners here, these corners of this shape. So mark them. Doesn't have to be perfect. But me personally, I'm just like have this curse of wanting to make it fit the original one. So yeah, let's just try to make it match the original one as much as we can. Okay, it's not really clear, but yeah, let's use that. So the next thing is just to like make your shape match the corners, match the rulers, your lines as well. So just expand, and I think we're good on this side. We're not good on the side, but let's just eyeball it. Okay, so that's that. So yeah, now we can go back to the whole trying to make the shape bulge and everything. So you add the corner, add the side here, add the points here, at the point here, and at the point here. And so let's start with this one. Since this one is already selected, just move it, hold shift, and just use your arrow key to move it down a bit. So I'm just going to like move it to the closest just move it somewhere close to where the thing ends, where the other shape ends. And then the same thing for this one as well. Same thing for this one as well. Doesn't have to be perfect. Although I think even when I was doing my one, I actually like did with a particular number. But for this one, let's just do to match the original image. Zoom in. Yeah, so it's ending where that shape ends. Same thing here as well. Okay, so we have that done. The next thing we want to do is just like grab. Ideally, this is not like what's it called. This is not a. You can see that this is actually like more of a. I don't know what to call it. It's a polygon. Yeah, it's a polygon. It doesn't feel like it's all actually like an organic shape. It doesn't have organic size. So what you want to do is just to like grab your grab your bend tool. I think it's bend tool or arc tool, whatever it's called. So this tool here, once you've done the whole stretching the sides, you want to pick this tool here. I think it's called bend tool. Make sure you are in edit mode or in vector edit mode, and then click on bend tool and just click on this section. Click on the just go and select the point. You can see that I don't know if you can see, but then the thing just automatically bends on it, so it turns into like a a curve. Yeah, it turns into a curve. So that's what you want to do. Just click on the point, it's turning into a curve. Click on the point, turns into a curve, and voila, that's now you have that organic looking. You have a more organic look. It's not perfect, but you have a more organic looking shape like this. So the last thing which you must do just to make it like feel even more organic, you can actually stop here. It's totally fine, good and fine to stop here. But last thing me personally, I went ahead to do, you can see that it's not the curve of my red curve is not matching the black curve of the other shape in the background. So let me tone down the opacity. So this is the red curve here. You can see that there's some black sections of the curve, other curve in the background that's showing. So what I want to do is just make my curve match the background curve. So what I just click on these points and click on the handle here, and just use your arrow key to like move it. So you can see that the more I move it, I don't know if you can see it. Probably I cannot see, but then the more I move it like left, like move it farther away, the more the curve actually like expands and also matches the original curve. So it doesn't have to be perfect totally, but I think that's okay. So do the same thing for the bottom part as well. Click on any of the handles, whether the left or the right, and just like move it like farther away from its origin, and it's just going to like expand the curve a bit and make it feel even more organic. So the same thing for this other side as well. Click on the curve and move it just to make it feel more organic. All this I just like basically basic Illustrator stuff. Maybe not basic per se, but then it helps a lot to like have to know all these all these functionalities in Figma. So that's that for the particular shape. Once we have this shape done, I think our work is like almost half done. Also made a mistake, but good and fine. So we can take this particular thing away. We have this one done currently. We can take it away. So what we want to do now is to just centralize our shape. So since inside of the frame, press align horizontal centers, align vertical centers, and then try to use the rulers to match the edges. I didn't do that properly then because. So try to use the rulers to match the edges. I think this one's fine. This one is also the bottom part. I need to adjust it as well. So cool. That's cool. That's cool. Sorry, network is really bad today, so I can't really show you the site how it works. But yeah, so now I have this particular shape set up. I can actually achieve the other I think that one is called convex. Yeah, I can achieve the convex shape. I don't know if I'm getting it wrong or right, but yeah, the convex this is the concave shape, and then I want to. So I think this is convex one, and then the other one is concave. Well, either way, that's totally fine. So yeah, I want to probably move this one. Let's just move it somewhere first, and then focus on creating the other shape. So to create the other shape, what I want to do first is actually have have the core shape, which is the rectangle. So the rectangle, just share this one, like create a rectangle and just like try to make it feel the touch the edges of the guide you have. So as it stands now, you have this shape that has the same edges as they have the same edges as each other. So that's really the idea of the whole thing. You want them to have the same edges, and then this one just to shrink and the other one to expand. That's basically just the whole logic behind the whole thing. So yeah, that's been done. The next thing I want to do now is to create the convex shape. So the convex shape to create is I want to move this one, move the this shape to the background, and then I want to move use my select. Okay, I also want to move this one away. So I have my rectangle, I have my concave or convex. I don't know which one of them it is. And then I want to create the other the other one as well. The other one with the inverted inside. So yeah, what I want to just do just to, I guess, what can I do? What should I do? I think let's just do the top one first. So create a rectangle and try to the rectangle that has the same corners, and then I want to cut out this top part. I think I can actually cut out top part without doing all this stress, but that's fine. So I want to cut out that top part. I want to use a shape to cut out. So I just want to create a shape that has the same corners, but then expand the width to cross, to cross the entire shape. So I want to now select both of them and then do subtract. So if you're familiar with this Boolean tool on Figma, you can easily use one shape, put over another shape, and then easy to create a new shape. So I want to put the rectangle over the concave shape and then press subtract selection. So like this, I have a new shape. With these corners. Although this is not what I want. I actually just want one of the corners. I want just this top corner. So what I want to do is to now flatten this subtracted shape, flatten it to turn it into because this is actually not a shape. It's actually a group. So if I click on it, sorry, the rectangle is still inside of the group. So it's not really a group per se. It's a subtracted group. So now I want to turn this subtracted group into a flattened shape. So just right click and then you see flatten here. So flatten. That's basically, so now it's a shape. I can edit it, but I actually don't want to. I just want to delete one of the sides. Okay, if I even delete one of the sides, I think I want to go back to that subtracted mode and create a duplicate because I will still need it. So create a duplicate, turn one off, and then flatten this one, and then press enter. And then I can just delete one of the sides. So I only have just the top remaining. You're going to see how we're going to use it in a moment. So that's that. So for the other one, I want to just turn this one off, and then I want to turn the other one on. That's the other subtracted group on. And then for this other one, what I want to do is to go inside of the subtracted group, and then I want to shrink the rectangle to its original form, and then expand the height just to cut out those other useless. So I'm expanding the height and width just to cut out the top and sides, because I only need I want one top part and I want one side part, so I can use it to cut the rectangle in turn. So that's really why I'm trying to do all of this. So now I've done this, I now have this shape of just the sides. I can now flatten this shape now. Flatten this group, this subtracted group. Sorry, flatten, not on group. Flatten, and then press enter, and then I can just delete one of them. So like this now, I've been able to create. You can actually go around creating these shapes in different kind of way, in a different kind of way, but then this is how I did mine. So I'm just going through my own process. So now I've done that, I want to just bring this rectangle back into my design. This rectangle here, which is properly sized, place it in my design, and then I want to this shape. I want to start using them to cut this rectangle. So I want to just create a duplicate of it. Move it to the background first. So I want to create a duplicate of this one. Okay, I want to select select the rectangle, this gray rectangle, and then align to the bottom. And then I want to align this one. Okay, not align to it. I want to turn this one around, rotate it as 180 degree, and then align it to the top. Okay, align to the top of the rectangle. And then this one, I want to just drag it here. I can also select the rectangle as well and press align side, align to the right here, and then rotate this one as well. Like I said, you can actually go around this a different way. You don't even need to do all of this really. Actually, you really don't need to do all of this if you have these shapes ready. I'm probably going to share this file so you can actually have access to it. But yeah, this is how I went about creating the shape. So yeah, you have this done. I think some things are not in place properly. Yeah. So make sure to zoom in to make sure you are getting very, very accurate results, because this is actually something you need to really, really be accurate about. So yeah, zoom in and okay, so that's done. So if I were to turn all these red weird shapes, turn them to white, just like the background, you're going to see my rectangle now actually has that concave I don't know which one this is, whether it's concave or convex, but then it has that particular look I'm actually going for. So let me turn to red to white back, to red back, and then select everything now and press what's it called, subtract selection. So I'm going to I'm subtracting all these other shapes from this rectangle in the middle, just to give like this particular shape format. So that's done. I'm going to convert this one into flatten it into a shape now, so that's an independent shape on its own. I think I can actually do this the other way, but this is how I did mine, so I'm just sharing the process. So yeah, now you have all your shapes prepared. You have this what's it called, the rectangle, you have the concave shape, and then you have the convex one. Again, let me just to be sure, you have the convex one. So yeah, let me change to red, the color to red. So now the idea is just to like use all these things, all these shapes as masks. Just use all these shapes as masks. That's what I'm going to be doing now. First thing I want to do is just to drag my rectangle in, and then copy this image, Control Alternate C to copy that image, Control Alternate C, and then click on this one, Control Alternate V. I'm going to paste it here. So that's how you copy like an image and paste it in another shape. So that's been done. The next thing I want to do is to actually, you know what, create a duplicate of that one, and then expand this one, like expand it seriously. Okay, have a rectangle first, and then duplicate it, and then expand the one of them, like just to be a really huge shape. So the next thing I want to do is just to copy this one, copy this concave shape now, and then paste it here, put it in the middle, centralize it, and then select okay, I think to mask something you have to move it to the bottom. So I'm going to move the concave shape to the bottom of the image. So I'm going to call this one image, and then I'm going to just select both of them and then press right click and then press use as mask. So you can see now I have the image inside of that what's it called, that concave or convex shape I created. And if you can already tell from what's it called, the direction I'm actually going, if you can already tell the direction I'm actually going, you can see that, okay, it's not really showing here first. Okay, let me see what I can do. Let me create a duplicate of this image because I want to show something. Okay, press use as mask. So I'm using the what's it called, the concave shape as a mask for the image, and there's still another image in the background, but like there's still like this huge image in the background, and there's the mask what's it called, mask image above it, but you can't tell the difference until I move it differently. Like I move like what's it called, the mask group to a different direction. That's why you can say, okay, oh, there's actually something there, but typically you would not know. So it's just like about what's it called, hiding stuff in plain sight. That's really how you achieve all these particular things. So let me see if it's done. So basically that concave shape is here. It's here, but you can't see it because again it's hiding in plain sight, and the only thing you are currently seeing is just the rectangle in the background, which I'm going to also do in a moment. So with this huge image in the background, you're going to, let me call this one rectangle, and remove the fill. So let me turn this mask group off. You have this image now. Then you have the what's it called, this red rectangle, which is also like what's it called, which is matching all the dimensions that we created initially. So it's important for you to have the guide so you can actually know, you can have like accurate results, because accuracy is what is really going to get you the results you're looking for. It's really what's going to like fool anyone that's going to be looking at all this particular stuff. So you have the image in front of it, this huge image in front of it, which, keep in mind, we are also masking, we're also like masking inside of this what's it called, concave shape. So that's two huge images. So once you select this image in the front and then select the rectangle behind it and then press use as mask as well. So now you can't tell there are actually two shapes here. You can't tell there's a rectangle and there's also like a convex shape here, because they have the what's it called, an image of the same size and the same content inside of them. So the only time you can actually tell there's two things is if I now like move one maybe to the top a bit or something. That's when you can actually tell, okay, there's actually something what's it called, behind the other one. So that's the whole idea of achieving this whole what's it called, the whole bubbly gooey effect. So that's one thing out of the way. The other things we're going to like get to them in a second. So the other one, let's create the other one as well, the convex shape, which is this particular shape here, the concave shape. Sorry, I can't keep making this mistake. I need to check which one is which. Sorry, concave, convex. I'm sorry. Okay, concave. versus convex. Yeah, so this is concave, and then this bulging one is convex. Yeah, so yeah, I have that sorted out. So I'm going to just copy this concave shape and then paste it in this design as well, this duplicated design, and then I am going to just I think I could just unmask. Yeah, I could just unmask this particular image here, this concave one, sorry, this convex one, because we don't actually need the convex one again. So I can actually just delete it. Click on the convex mask, click on the convex mask and delete it. So now the image just be revealed to the image that was being masked by the convex shape will be revealed now. So that's what we want to do. So we can still use the same image of same size to achieve to to mask this to be masked with this other shape. So let's ungroup the group it, and then select the shape. That's the the other shape, and then we're going to use as mask. So we have like two versions. We have the version that has this shape as the mask, then we have the version that has this other shape as the mask. So you have two versions now. So this is all we are doing this just because like of the transition. We're going to like create the prototype transition. We're going to create, because ideally in my own here you have in this version you have the bulging, the convex shape, and then in this other version you have the concave. So when it expands, let me explain. So from here it expands, the convex shape expands to fill the screen, and then it just here, without you knowing, it just like instantly jumps into another version where you have the concave shape as the mask, and then the concave shape now shrinks down into like this. The concave shape now shrinks down into this screen, and then this screen just instantly jumps into this one as well. It's a bit confusing, but then you're going to see how it all pans out in a moment. So yeah, that's basically the whole logic behind it. So let's move it to the side. So this, let's name it so we're not confused. Concave mask. Okay, convex mask. Okay, so I have those two set up. Let me just check the screen. I don't really like dark mode. E4. Yeah. So you have the convex mask, and then you have the concave mask. So good and fine. So although they have one initial, I think what I want to do is just duplicate one, because I like avoiding mistakes. So I'm duplicating a lot just to avoid any mistakes, irreparable mistakes. So I want to now, here what I want to do is I want to go into the mask group, and then shrink the convex. Let me name it properly. Convex. Shrink the mask, not the image. That's one thing you really need to know. You must shrink the mask and not the image. If you want to edit grow or size an image or anything, shrink the mask and not the image. So I'm going to shrink the convex mask. So it's hiding behind. So it's like just disappearing into the so it's smaller than the rectangle mask, because ideally it should start from this rectangle shape and expand into the convex shape. So that's the idea. So I'm going to just shrink the convex mask down a bit. You don't really have to shrink down to any particular size, just any size that just fits you. So shrink it down a bit, but then the image, I'm not tampering with the image, the size of the image. So if I move the move the mask up a bit, you're going to see, okay, there's actually something there, but currently you can't tell because I'm not tampering with the image. But if I were to go into the mask group and adjust the image size, you can see now that the image in the convex mask and the image in the in the rectangle mask are different. So you can tell there's something wrong with it. So you always want to adjust the the image, the mask, and not the image. Except maybe when you need to adjust the image, make sure you're adjusting the image on both masks. Inside of both masks. So there's no. So then the person that's looking at it cannot tell that there's actually something that's going on there. So that's the whole point. So I want to now create a duplicate of it. And then I want to expand. I want to select the convex mask, select the rectangle mask, and expand both of them. So the masks is what I'm selecting. Expand both of them. Yeah, so that's what you want to do here. Although I think one thing I should do here, just so we can actually see. Okay. 1 second. Although it's going to work. So let's just quickly do a rough prototype and see the results. Okay, prototype. So movie here. So on click, I want to smart animate. smart animate. Let me do how many? Let's just do 800 just to see. 800, not 8,000. 800. And then let's just do this one backwards. These are not the final prototype settings, but then I just want to just see the what's it called, the result. So play. Let me press play and see how it works. So this is how I actually work. I try to like play and then I try to like see the results that I'm getting, so I can from there start making them changes. Why is it showing red? Why are you showing red? Oh boy. Yeah. So finally, so here's the how it looks like. So if I press it to shrink down, I think I'm not really getting the effect I want. I'm not seeing the convex shape. When it's transitioning from small view to big view to full, when it's transitioning from this view to like full screen mode, I'm not seeing the convex shape. And why I'm not seeing the convex shape is because the convex mask rather is still what's it called? It's still the same size as the what's it called rectangle and what's it called? Because I scale them together. So what I want to just do is just to click on the rectangle here in the full screen state. I want to click on the rectangle mask here and shrink the rectangle mask instead. Okay, I didn't. That's it. That's just shrink the rectangle mask instead. I don't think I want to grow the rectangle. I think I only want to grow the concave mask. Sorry, the convex mask. So just grow it. Just the mask and not the image. Just the mask. So yeah, it should work now. So you can see that from here, it just like, oh boy. Don't click. Why aren't you working? Okay. For some reason, that's refused to work. Let me see. On click 8,000 should work. Geely. Yeah, so you can see that now I can actually, the thing actually has that what's it called convex effect because the rectangle mask is not growing as well. It's just the convex mask that's growing. So it looks like the rectangle is actually like bulging out. Meanwhile, it's just the convex mask that's coming out of the rectangle and expanding to fill the screen. So that's really the idea behind getting that particular effect. So once that is done, we want to also apply the same logic for this other one as well, for the concave mask. So this is the concave masks. Concave mask rather. So we want to move it here, and then we want to have the concave mask. Let's call it concave mask. We want to copy it. I want to paste it in this design. Paste the concave mask in this design. I want to also remove this thing here. Or we don't even need to copy the concave mask itself. We can just copy this shape here. Copy it and then paste it here. As long as they have the same name, it's going to do the same thing. So I'm going to rename it to concave. Yep. Make sure to leave no spaces. Yeah, so I have that done. I want to now do the same thing I did that first time. I want to remove this mask here. I want to remove the convex mask here. Although before I remove the mask, I want to also like scale this one up to be the same, like to just be like this humongous size as well. So just scale it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. So sorry, the first mask. Okay, this first mask here. You have this first mask here. Let me see on clip content. So here, I think okay, here this is the concave. Sorry, convex mask. This is the convex mask. The naming convention is like really confusing. I'm not really used to calling it. So yeah, the convex mask. This is convex mask here, and then here now I want to have the concave mask coming. So that's really the idea. So what I'm going to do now is just to let me unclip content so you can see the entire thing. Okay. And to make sure that the image is always the same size. Okay, unclip content. Yeah. So I want to just first of all I want to turn off this concave, and then I want to remove the mask. So I want to just remove the mask part, or delete it totally even self. Delete the what's it called, the mask, and then the image, like the image itself, will just be revealed. So what I want to just do now is just to ungroup it, ungroup, and then I want to turn on this what's it called, this concave shape, and then I want to use it as a mask for the image as well. So I'm going to use as a mask. So you're seeing like some distortion here because the image is actually not filling up the entirety of the mask. If I were to fill up the entirety of the mask, it's going to say, okay, this is how the image is actually going to look inside of the mask. But we don't need to fill the entirety of the mask because it's actually going out of view, out of the original frames view. So that's good and fine. So here you have the convex mask, and then you have here you have the concave mask. So let me just call it concave, so the name does not confuse me again. Yeah, so you have the concave mask coming here, and then I don't think we need to do anything here. We can just name it concave. Yeah. So I think the name, as long as the naming convention is properly done, you will not have any issue. But then you have like what's it called, messy naming convention. It's going to like cause problems. So let's turn off clip content as well. So let's just see how it's supposed to work in prototype. So in prototype mode, I'm going to move from here to here. I'll need it to transition on click, smart animate, ease out 800 milliseconds is setting, and then from here to here, the logic is that once it's going out, once it's here, you can see that once it's going out of view or it's shrinking, you see that it shrinks in a concave format, and then once it's expanding, it expands in a convex format. So what you want to do is to get it to happen the same way in this particular design. So to do that is just for you to make it so that once it grows big like this, it jumps. Let's change here. So from here, I said I'll do setting to after delay, and then I'll change the animation type to instant. So instant, once it just expands, it instantly jumps into like what's called the concave mask without anybody knowing. So that actually what's happening here, but then you can't tell because it's happening like really, really fast, and there's no in between animations for you to even see that okay, something actually happened. So I want you to move from this convex mask field view to this concave mask field view without any delay. So delay of 1 millisecond. I can't do 0. If I could do 0 I could do that, but then you can only do 1. So 1 millisecond instant. So that's that. And then from here as well, you want it to move back to this state in on click. Okay, let's do on click, and after ease out. Let's do easy in. I think easy in works better when you're going out. So yeah, let's do easy. So that's really logic. So let's just see how it all plays out in the end. Let's see how it plays out. So if I were to click, I think I have to reload again. Oh boy. So I have to reload again. Let me just reload again. Yeah, so it fills up in a convex state, and then it shrinks down in a concave state. So that's really the idea here, because so this is the in-between state where you can't actually tell that okay, that's change from the convex mask into the concave mask. So that's really why you're having this in-between state. Also, this is also meant to be an in-between state as well, because ideally, if I were to move this prototype hand to this screen, it's not really going to pan out well. So I always wanted to expand or to fill the screen in a convex format. So what I must do is just drag this screen here to this first screen, so that the entire flow starts again. So the settings will just be after delay 1, and then the transition should be instant. So it should just jump from this shrunk concave mask to like convex to shrunk convex mask at an instant. So you can't really tell that the prototype is going to start again. So now I think it should work. So I don't know if it makes any. Hopefully like this actually makes sense, because that's the way you actually like set up the whole concave and convex transition thing. From here, from the convex mask shrinking state, it goes into like the convex mask like field state, and then the convex mask field state just like jumps at an instant to the concave mask field state without you knowing, and then it now you can now use set whatever setting you want to set for the transition into the shrunken state, and then the shrunken state as well just like jumps at an instant into the convex state to just restart the entire prototype again. So for the clock thing is like really, really very, very easy. Maybe it's not exactly too easy, but then it's still easy to some extent. So for the clock thing, what you just create like create a line. Let's not use a line, let's use a rectangle. Let's create a rectangle. So the difficult part is really done. Create a rectangle. I'm going to just make it like let's do 2. Let's do 2. Or let's do 4, just so it's like visible. So let's do 4, and then I'm going to centralize it in design. I'm going to give it a conspicuous color red so you can see it. Okay, so now that has been done, I want to first of all, I want to make it the height of the rectangle, and then make it half the height of the rectangle rather. So the rectangle is 781 in height. I want to just select it, and then 781. Let me do 780. Just have to perfect divide by 2. Yeah, so I have like a round figure, and then I want to select the rectangle. Select the what's it called, hand. Let me call this one shorthand. Let me call it shorthand. Or you know what? You can't do both hands, so let's just focus on doing one instead. Let's just call it shorthand. Okay, I'm going to select the rectangle. That is this what's it called shape, and then move it to the top. So align top. So it's like just touching the top of the rectangle, and then it just turns around inside of this what's it called confined area. So that's what I want to do. I also want to create another frame. So this frame now is going to be a square. So remember that the height of this rectangle is 781. 781 is the height of the rectangle. So I want to create a what's called a square of 781 by 781. 781, or a frame rather, not a square really. A frame. Frame of 781. 781 by 781. Okay. I am now going to drop what's called cut this, just cut that file, and then place it out of this design, out of this frame rather. I just what's it called, move it to the top. So this is going to just be the hand that this is going to be the frame that rotates the what's it called, that rotates the hand around and around. Ideally, I would have said, oh, you know what, you can actually just use this what's it called, you can use this rectangle. But if you do that, it's going to rotate on this rectangle's axis, which is not really going to give you that clock motion you want. So you have to put inside of a what's it called, inside of a something that has like what's it called, an equal radius, and then just make that thing turn round and around. So in this case, it's just going to be the frame. You could actually like make it a circle if you want, but then you don't need to make it a circle because this thing is going to be like transparent. So it's meant to be transparent. It's not meant to have a feel ideally. So yeah, this is just going to be frame that just turns the hand around. So let's call it hand. Let's call it shorthand. Shorthand. Okay, and then let's create another one that I'm going to call long hand. So for this long hand, it's going to be really long. It's going to be really, really long. Just select one of the edge, one of the what's it called, select the what's it called hand and call it long hand, and then expand just increase the height. Although if you are increasing the height, okay, let's drop in design first. Drop it in design. Centralize it. You can turn off this thing just to avoid any mistakes. Sorry, I want to turn off this layer. Okay, so if you want to if you want to increase the height, make sure you're increasing increasing the height upwards only and not downwards, or not sideways. And when you want to do that, just screw it up, like just to be really long, just to one ridiculous amount, so that once it turns around, because ideally in the design, when the long hand is turning, you will never see like the end of the long hand. Let's turn off clip content. So that whenever it turns around in the frame, it's never short enough that you see the end of the what's it called, of the rectangle. So that's really the idea of making like really, really long. So yeah, that's on clip content. I'm going to move it out of design again. Let's move out of design and place it somewhere here. So this is long hand, then that's short hand. So let's just focus on animating just one hand. I think just the long hand, because even in the original website, the short hand does not move. It only like moves like once in like every hour. But then this long hand is meant to like move like around and around. So yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to just group it again. So not group it again, frame it again rather. Right click and then press frame selection and just press what's it called? Call it rename it to long hand. Yeah, so long hand. I am doing this because if I were to just use this original group, let me call this one. What should I call itself? Let's call it H. Call it H. Naming convention is like a pain, so let me call this one H as well. Yeah, let me call this one line. Let me call it line. Yeah. So the line is actually the actual line. Then the line is inside of a group. Sorry, inside of a frame that's called H, and the frame is inside of another frame. The H frame is another frame that's called long hand. So that's really the idea. So when I want to create components, like component versions of what I want to create components, I don't want to touch this outside version. I only want to go inside of them, go touch the inner version of it. So let's just get a feel so we can easily see it, and also round it totally. So round it totally, and then give the feel of red, so it's conspicuous, so it's conspicuous and very obvious. But let's make it blue so we can see. Okay, so you want to duplicate it, and then click inside of the group and then rotate it. Just rotate it like what's it called, let's say by, you know what, come here and add, just do 15. Okay, not 15, minus 15. I want to rotate like clockwise, so 15 enough. I think 30, let's do 30, so it's really fast. Minus 30 rather, minus 30. So in the rotation, this is rotation here, this multiple icon, minus 30. Don't type minus 30 there, so it rotates like in minus 30 degree. Although I think minus 30 is really a small jump, so I'm going to, yeah, so let's do minus 30. Let's do minus 30. I think 30, yeah, it's going to give us like a round figure, so let's do that. So minus 30, and then I'm going to go here again, click on it. So I'm selecting the H, I'm rotating the H group instead of the long hand group. So I'm going to, like, I think it's minus 30 again. Just so minus 30 is actually adding 30 degree more to the what's it called, to the rotation. So that's really the idea of adding minus 30 again. So go inside of the group again and minus 30 again, minus 30. Okay, so I'm just going to just do this minus 30 thing until it gets back to like its original state. So I'm just going to go inside of group again, minus 30. Minus 30 until it gives me until it returns back to that original what's it called, state. So I'm just going to create a bunch of prototypes, sorry, bunch of what's it called, iterations of it. Minus 30. Oh boy, it's going to be a long one. I think I should have done it like a huge what's it called, a bigger number, like minus 60, minus 60, minus 60, but that's fine, we've already come this far. So just to continue, so minus 30. Oh boy, minus 30. No, that's not the one I should turn. Turn this one inside, yeah. Okay, we're almost there. Minus 30. I think one more and we'll be there. Is it one more? Okay, yeah, I think that's the last. Nope, that's the last one. Oh boy, it's a pain to like just be doing like all these things. But yeah, I think that's the last one. I think that's the last one. So you have all these like versions of the what's it called, of the hand, like facing different places. So just for you to just select all of them. Select all of them. I'm going to select all of them. Oh, I should have done this more properly. Select all of them. And I'm just going to drag somewhere. Okay, I have this one selected as well. Good, select. Okay, so I have all the hands selected. I can just like auto layout them. And then I want to, okay, I also want to remove this one. This one is not part of the group. With this one, I think minus 30 is like too small of a number. It's too small of an increment. Well, that's totally fine. So make the spacing between them, let's say 40, I guess. Okay, so the painful part now is just having to like link all of them together. Just link all of them together. Although you can do styling in bulk, but just you have to link all of them together first. So link this group. Okay, there's a problem. The fundamental problem. So the fundamental problem is that we must give the frame, the what's it called, long hand frame, must give the frame before we even do that. Before we do that, not total out them. So once you select, have all of them selected, create a component set. So create a component set from all of them, and then you start linking them together. Prototype. So you just drag this one to this one, this one to this one, like that. Make sure it's selecting like it. We are dragging like it to select the actual long hand group, because you may actually select the inner group and it's going to like give you some weird results. So just select like that. Although we can start the components in bulk, but you have to first of all link all of them together one by one. So this should not take too long since we're not being too precise. Okay. Hopefully this was done properly and I don't encounter any mistakes along the way. Hopefully it was done properly. Okay, so that's done. So you see I was not really bothered about what's it called, the prototype setting. So what I can do now, just to style the prototype, all the links in bulk, is just to click on the components and just press enter, you're going to like have what's it called interactions. Like since they are the same interaction, I didn't change they're the same interaction. I can just change everything here by default, like in bulk. So just come here, change it from on click to after delay, set the what's it called delay to 0, and then change the what's it called the whatever type this instance to smart animate, and then smart animate should be like what's it called, let's do 1000, let's do 5000, so it's fast. 5000, I get 5000 milliseconds, and then change from easy to linear. So the what's it called transition should be linear instead, not what's it called, not easy out or easy, because a time moves linear. The hand of the clock moves linear. It doesn't like move in a what's it called, in an easy in or easy out fashion. It moves linearly. So you want to have that. So the last thing you also want to do is to select all the colors. So go to selection colors in the components. Go selection colors and select all the what's it called, all the ones with all the colors with that blue, and then just remove the background. So once you remove the background, I only added it so you could actually see it, but typically I would not. So let's just change this one. I think the hand of the clock, let's change it to black. Oh, black. Yeah, black. So you can't probably see it, but it's there. So I'm just going to copy this first one and paste it in my design. Paste it in this design. Not even just that design. I'm going to paste it everywhere, really. I'm going to paste it everywhere in all the designs. These 4 designs. Just select 4 designs. Just press Ctrl V. And then, okay, not Ctrl V. Paste it in one first. And style it there. So I want it to be in the middle. I've pasted it in this design. I want it to be in the middle of the design. Good and fine. So I think let me even check if it works. Let me check if it works. Check if it works. So you can see that it's just moving like linearly. It's just going to be moving around and around. So that's that for the clock thing. We've already done that. So we're just going to copy it. Since it's in the center, we're going to copy it, Ctrl C it, then select the other groups. Select the other, what's it called, designs. Select the other designs. Okay, we don't select the first one since it's already there. And press Ctrl V. It's just going to be pasted right in the middle of all of them. So it's currently in the middle of all of the other designs. So that's what you want to, and what's it called, have your clock do, be in the middle of all the other ones. However, I want it to be white as well. Although I'm still coming to what's it called, to the what do you call that thing again, blending mode option, but let's just make it black first, or let's just make it let's make it white. No, black should work. So black, let's make it black. So you can see that regardless of whatever state I go into, the clock is just going to keep turning and turning, although there's still like one key effect it has, but we're going to solve that in a jiffy. We're going to solve that. So these ones, I have the image turned down, the opacity turned down. I'm just going to turn them up back so it works. So you can see that regardless of whatever state I go into, the clock is going to keep. Okay, it's not ticking now because I think I made a change. So I'm going to just really tap. It should work ideally. So that's that for that. So the other items really are just really like very, very easy. So I think the other one, I just, like I said, for the other hand, for the what do you call it, for the shorthand, you can just like drop that one in there. Although you can still go in and actually do it by yourself, but then I don't think we have the time for that. Let's just move into other things now. Let's just turn the what's it called, the shorthand. Let's just turn it a bit just so it faces somewhere else, and then okay, it faces somewhere else, and then make it black as well. Okay, so you have this clock thing that's just going on, although only one hand is working because we only have like time to do one. But then with this logic of doing this hand, you can actually do the shorthand part as well. It's very, very straightforward. It's really as straightforward as making. So the only thing is that you have to make the what's it called, increments of the small hand smaller than, you have to make the increment smaller than this one, so it moves slower, and you can also increase the time it takes for this shorthand to move, so it moves like really, really slower than this other long hand. So that's basically that for the hands section. So the other thing is the text. I've actually done text prototyping like a ton of times in my design session. So for the text, just drag what's it called, I'm going to just add a text, call it 26k 26. Okay, I don't need to actually do that. I want to stack them vertically, so I want to write them separately. So 28k, which is the name of Design Studio, 28k, and then select all of them, and then I'm going to just stack them vertically, and make the spacing between them like, let's say 8, I guess. Although I don't know what font those guys are using, but I'm going to be using what's called New Montreal because it looks like similar to that. So PP, you can find New Montreal online. Just search for New Montreal for download, or just go through one of my old videos. You're going to find it there for download. So yeah, Montreal, what's it called? Medium, yeah, Medium. And then I think on their own website, this K is inverted like this. Although the other thing I want to do, just to like make my text cleaner when I'm working with text personally, and I want them to like be vectorized. I don't like all these extra. I don't know if you know text, but text normally have these extras, because for example, if you zoom into this K now, you can see that the K, this is the area that it's covering, but then there's literally no aspect, no part of the K that's here. So I don't want that part in my text. I want to just vectorize everything. I want to make them like uneditable text. I want to make them like vector shapes. So what you can just select all the shapes, select all of them, and press outline strokes. I did have say flatten, but if I flatten them, I think it will become one item. So I don't want them to become one item. So yeah, I can just outline stroke. Yep. So it will turn them to a stroke. But like I said, ideally I should flatten. But flatten, you have to do them one by one, because if you flatten all of them together, it will turn into like one element. So one vector. But I want to flatten them together. Sorry, flatten one by one. Flatten, and flatten. So once I flatten, you can see that now the text, the K, I can no longer edit it. I can't change it into like V or any other thing. I can only edit it as a vector. I can only edit the parts. So that's the whole idea of what's called flattening or vectorizing. I think flattening is more like the word. Flattening an object, like a text in this case. So the next thing I'm just going to do, because in this design you can see that the text has like this transition where it comes outside from this like invisible mask here. So we're going to just easily create that in a second. So to do that, just select one of the text and then press Control, and press just mask, frame selection. So frame selection basically means you're adding inside of a frame. So currently it's inside of the 2 is inside of a frame. The frame, if I were to turn on clip content, you're not going to see it because the frame is like hiding. So the frame is basically like a mask, but then they serve different functionalities at different times. So yeah, that's basically, I'm going to frame it. So I'm going to frame the 8 as well. Currently they're not in a frame. So I'm just going to frame it. So right click and then press frame selection, and then right click and press frame selection. So I'm just going to select all the frame selection, all the frame groups. I'm just going to rename them in bulk. So Command arrow or Control arrow, and then press maybe let me just call them letter. Yeah, letter. So that's that. I'm going to also call this group, entire group, logo. Let me call it logo. Yeah, call it logo. So I'm just going to drop in the design and see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, I can always expand it as I so desire. So you can see that in this state it doesn't show. It's in this state that actually shows. So we want to have it here in this state here. So that's why I'm dropping it here, just to see how it looks. So let me check our design and see how it works. Okay, 28K. Okay, and drop it here as well so we can see it here as well. These are really, and then I'm just going to scale it up, because personally I want to scale it up just so it matches like the aesthetics of the original one. The original one like looks really big and pronounced, so I want to move it somewhere here. I'm not being too particular because there's no time for that. But yeah, I want to have this done like this, and I want to now copy it and press delete here. I think I want to make it white as well, to make it white. Yeah, so it's white here, and then I'm going to just copy it here, Control C, and then select the other groups, and then Control V. It's going to paste them in the same spot where I copied the original one from. So that's an easy way to save you what's it called, copying and adjusting around the design. So here it's not showing, but ideally it's not showing just because the background is white. But ideally, that's really not what we want. Okay, is that what you want? I think yeah, it works. Okay, that works. So basically we have the text set up. So what we want to do is that in this part here, let's make it black so we can see 0, 0. Okay, we're going to change the white back, but then let's just make it. So here we're going to just click on the text, select the text itself, because remember they're in a group, they're in a what's it called, in a frame rather. So in a frame, I think what I should have done was in that frame, let me select all of them again, select all of them, and then press enter to select all the frames. Individual frames are inside of it, and then press clip content, turn on clip content, so that anything that goes outside of the frame is clipped. Because if clip content is not turned off, you can't have this kind of effect. Clip content is turned on, that's why you can actually have this what's called disappearing effect. But if you don't turn it on, you will see that once you have the text, like once I move the text downwards, you can still see it. But if I turn off clip content, you can't see it because it's going outside of the frame. So that's basically the whole idea of clip content. So yeah, that's that for that. So I'm just selecting all of them and turning up clip content in bulk for all of them. So that should work. Okay, it works, cool. So here in this design here, I'm just going to select 2, 8 and the K, and then just move them downwards. So because they are inside of individual frames themselves, they are disappearing. So that's the whole idea. Although let me do them one by one because they have different heights. So move the 2 until it goes like what's it called outside of the frame. Move the 8 until it goes outside of the frame as well. Okay, there's really no sizing as to, there's really no spacing as to how I'm doing. Okay, just move it until they go outside of the frame, and that's basically it. So here you can copy this logo here and paste it in the other white spot as well, because it's very important they have the same what's it called positioning, and also the same what's it called, since this is a white spot, it's meant to, that's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, let's see how it plays out. Ideally it should work fine. Although the challenge you can see as it's obvious here is that it's changing from white to black, which is really not what we want. So like I said, these ones here are white, black, so just select both of them and change it to white. Change the selection color to white, FFF to white. So yeah, that should work fine now. So you can see that we have that what's it called, the text, the 28K text setup. And we also have the what's it called, the clock thing setup. Although one of the clock thing is not, shorthand is not working as it should, so it's not appearing everywhere. So I want to just copy the shorthand and move it somewhere. I want to drag it here, paste it here, and paste it here as well. Also in the layers panel, make sure that wherever you're pasting anything from one design to another, make sure it's in the same spot. Currently shorthand is at the top of all the other elements in the other designs, but then here it's not at the top of the what's it called, layers. So I'm just going to move it here to the top of the layers panel, so it's like top of everything and everything's in the same spot. So yeah, that's that. It should work fine. So I think the other last thing I forgot to mention is that there's one particular effect that happens here. You can see that in this trunking state, the section of the clock that's outside of the design is actually black. Is actually black. This section that's outside of the image rather is black, while the one that's inside of the inside of the image is white. So to have this particular thing is very, very easy. Just for you to just create like what's it called, I had to do lots of experimentation to find the perfect result, but I think it's just for you to do let me find out. Let me click on that. I want to be sure I'm saying the same thing. Okay, color dodge different. Okay, cool. So it's just for you to use blending mode. So this is where blending mode really comes into play. So make sure you're selecting the long hand, which is the one that's currently moving. So I'm going to select the long hands. I want to make sure that the section that appears outside of the image becomes black, while the one that's outside of the image is white. So I'm just going to select the long hand component on the layers panel, and then change the layers, this layer here, that's the blending mode, change it to what's it called, to I think difference. I think difference, was it exclusion? Was it different? Exclusion? Okay, I think I need to change to white first. Yeah. Okay. Boy, that doesn't work. Okay, difference, yeah. And once you change the difference, and then I'm going to just create another duplicate again, duplicate it, and then change this new one to exclusion. Sorry, to color dodge rather. Color dodge. So it's just like what's it called? You are stacking, like you're putting the long hand and the short hand together. The long hand, you're creating two long hands. The one that's under. Before I did that, I had to change the color to white. Okay, let me just go and do that on the mother component. So ideally, make sure the component is white, because it only happens when you use a white element. It only happens when you use a white. So make sure that the components here, the color, the what do you call it? The color is white. So it only happens with white. Only happens white color. I don't know. It doesn't happen when I use black. So change to what's called white. So all the hands here now white. So the hands in the design are going to be white as well. So that's the first thing you must do. So they are white in the design as well. Okay, cool. So change the first. Once you have the hand there, change this one. Change the what's called blending mode to difference. Change to difference. It's going to give you one weird look. So you're going to see. You can see I can see through the hand. But it's not white here. The outside is black, but then it's not white inside of it. It's just one ugly, one ugly color. So that's really not what I want to do. I want it to be pure white here and then black outside. The outside is already currently working fine. So I want to just create another duplicate of the long hand, and then change this one to color dodge. So for some magical reason, it just works. I can't explain why, but it just works. It just works, and it just has like what's it called? It just creates what's it called? This negating effect. Sorry, not negating, inverted effect, where any part of the hand of that particular element inside of the design becomes white, but any part that's outside is black. So you don't need to like do any what's it called? I think for me I had to like do two versions of this thing, do one in the back, do one in the front, but you don't really have to do all that if you just use like blending mode. So you can just group them together, and call them two hands. Let's call it two long hands, or hand groups, long hands group, okay. So long hand group, I'm just going to copy it and then use it to click on select all the hand layer, all the long hand layers on the other one, on the other designs. Can I select all the long hand layers? Oh, I can just delete them, I guess. I should just delete them, I guess. So it's easier for me to just start with scratch. So just delete the other ones. I think for this long hand group as well, I want to move it to the top because for the other one it's going to be at top. So move to the top of the layer. So it's at the top of the layers of all the other layers. I'm just going to copy it now. Copy, select the other layers, and press Ctrl V. So you're just going to paste them in the same spot. It's going to be okay. I'm copying shorthand. Sorry, so I've copied long hand group. Yeah, long hand group. So I'm going to move long hand group layers to the top of the layers panel, and then copy it, and then select the other groups. Okay, I think I should actually like copy it and shorthand together. So I'm going to copy shorthand and long hand group. I'm going to group them. I just call it hands. Really, just call it hands, and copy it, and just select the other design frames and just paste it there. So you have that. So you have this particular thing done. So you can see that here in this one where it's a full view, you actually don't have any part of your design as white that's black rather, because of that what's it called, that whole thing we did. So you can actually do the same thing for the for the shorthand as well, but then I don't think I have the time and luxury to do all of that. But yeah, let's just ignore the the shorthand. So that's that for that really. So you can see that whatever section of the hand falls inside of the image is always white, and whatever part is outside is always black. So we have that whole effect thing set up, and that's basically that. So I think the last thing is it the last thing? I think it's almost the last thing. What last thing to do? Yeah, the radial thing, this time thing. So this other time thing was another interesting thing I discovered. So this particular time thing, you have this plugin on Figma. I think it's called radial. Yeah, radial generator. Just search for radial. So search for radial. I don't really remember what exact settings I used, but basically I just press plus. Once you press plus on the design, once you press plus in design, this plus button is just going to add something to your design file. So you can see it has added this funky looking thing, and I can start customizing here. So by default, I think it has what's it called, a inner, I don't know what this thing's called, I've forgotten what's called, but this hole in the middle, it's 50%. So I want to just increase it up to, let's say, 80%, I guess. So 80%. And then here I want to change I think these are the what's called cuts, amount of cuts it has. I think I did like how many did I do? Let's say let's do 60 and see. Okay, 60 is still too chunky. I want to do something like 80. 80 is still too chunky. I think 120. Okay, it depends on you and what you're trying to go on for really. But then I want to do something that's really small and minimal. That's why I'm trying to increase the number. So let's do 140. 140 still looks too big, I guess. So let's do 160. Yeah, so 160. I think 160 works. Sort of what I'm looking for. I'm just going to increase the hole in the middle again to something like something like, let's say 90. Yeah, I think 90 works fine. So that's that. So for the size, I want the size to be the same height as this particular rectangle. So if I remember correctly, the height of the rectangle was 781. So I'm just going to increase the height here, the size here, to 781. 781. Okay, 781. Yeah, so the height will just be increased. Anything I'm doing here happens in the design as well. So I don't need to. So the color, I can just change it to white first of all, and then I will do that thing I did, that whole what's it called, color blending thing. Although I don't need to do it here. I need to do it in the actual design. So I can actually do it here. Let's just duplicate another version of it and create Ctrl D to duplicate another version of it. Control D, and then this version I'm going to change the blending modes to exclusion, sorry, difference rather, and then I'm going to change this one to what do you call it, to color dodge. Yeah, color dodge. So I can just stack them over each other. Make sure this one that has difference is at the back of the one that has exclusion. So that's basically what you need to do. So just do them like this, stack them over each other, and just Control G to group them together. Or you can not Control G. I don't recommend grouping. I actually recommend what's called framing instead. So frame them and call it radial. Let's just call it radial. Let's call it radial. So this is just meant to be like the numbers on the clock. Although I think it still looks a bit chunky, but I guess this should work. So it's just for you to just increase the size. So you can just press K on your keyboard to scale, and they'll scale it up because I want some edges, some part of it to actually go outside of the circle. So it has like this more interesting look. So that's really what you want to have. Although the edges still look too chunky, and I personally want to still come here and adjust this thing. So I can just come here and adjust the number to, let's say, 180, I guess. I don't know if it should update again. I've tried it before. Well, it looks like it does not. Look like there's no. I think it only updates here. 200. Okay, I think it only updates here, but that's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. Should update here, but no problem. That's fine. So basically, that's how you create what you call this whole clock thing. Although it was not really perfect, but as I wanted it to be. But I think with the amount of time we have, I think we've already really gone over time. But yeah, this was what we were able to achieve. Let me just copy the clock. Although I'm going to, in my design file, in the tutorial video I'm going to upload, I'm going to just also share this design file so you can actually go through the original one. And if you have any questions, probably feel free to ask. All these other text animations, I don't have time to do them because it's literally the same thing like I did with that with that 28K. I just like have them in a frame. I just move the frame downwards, and that's basically how the entire thing works. But the key elements, which are the transition, this bubble transition, the clock thing, I think we've been able to like address those very, very key ones, and you can go ahead and maybe see how you can recreate it. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to like reach out to me at any point in time, and I'll be willing to always help. So let's just copy this radial and paste it across the other designs as well. Okay, and like that, you have that effect. Although there's this funky looking effect which I am not pleased with here, but I think that's really all the time we have for today. One more. Is there something I need to correct? I think there's something I need to correct. Okay. Okay, yeah. So the last thing I need to correct is that in this long hand, this the hand thing. This last one does not go anywhere. Once you get to this last stage, it just stops. I think that's why it's not really moving again. You can see it's no longer moving again. So ideally, it should continue. What you want to just do is just to go to prototype and just drag this thing to go back to the first one. And all you want to do is just jump like at an, I think, linear as well. Okay, linear, not on click, after delay, to have the same settings as the other ones. 0, 5,000. Basically, that's everything you need to do. And ideally should be triggered to continue, but I don't think it will until I reload. So once I reload, the whole thing will start and start working fine. So basically, that's the rusty version we're able to achieve. There's no much time, so we can actually like really finesse out everything. So yeah, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. And also, I can see that while I'm transitioning, you can see that this clock is having this janky effect. That can be easily solved. You can just go into these frames, and I think, let me see my design. There's at a point where you need to turn off this particular annoying Figma feature. Reset component state. Okay, it's turned off here. Reset component state. Okay, it's not turned on here. Let's see. Okay, so basically just for you to just turn off reset component state, because there's a feature Figma has where reset component state is turned off. So turn it off here, turn it on everywhere else except the way from where this one transitions into this other state. So that's basically it. So come here, turn it on, come here, click on this one, turn it on, component states, click here, turn it on, and ideally it should work as I want it to work. Let's just reload tab. It should work. What is wrong with this one? Why is it acting up? Oh, I can't fix it. So you can see that it no longer does that jumping thing. Ideally, you no longer, it only resets, and which is what the actual what's it called effect that happens when you're on the actual site. So basically, that's really all we've been able to do today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time, and I will definitely willing to help out. But yeah, thanks again for coming. And yeah, I mean, the idea is not like we've created perfectly, because perfection actually requires like going to the details, and we could actually spend all day trying to perfect it. But then I think like having this basic idea of how to achieve all the key elements would help you in what's it called, being able to like achieve something as perfect as this, because perfection is when you actually really go in and settle down to like maybe finish out all the details. But yeah, that's basically how you can achieve as much as this. Every other thing is basically just a replica of all we've been able to achieve. This shorthand moving is the same logic you used to like achieve this one that you used to achieve this shorthand moving. The other text is the same logic you used to achieve this particular one. You can use to achieve the other text animations. And if you even need more text animation tutorials, I think I currently have some on my channel. You can also check them out. And yeah, that's basically all. So let me just share this link in the chat, and if you have any, if you can just like easily get access to it and go through in your spare time. So yeah, drop in the chat. Okay, so feel free to open it and go through it in your spare time. And if you have any questions, like I said, reach out to me. So thanks all for coming, and I think that'll be all for today. Yeah, thank you, and see you next time. All right.